Hello everybody and welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Christian Skoggs and Megalopolis is finally here. Yay! I was actually really excited to see this movie. It comes to us from legendary director Francis Ford Coppola, and this was his passion project that he's been trying to make since the 1980s. He sold a portion of his winery to raise the funds and spent $120 million of his own money to finally make it happen. For as much clout as Francis Ford Coppola has developed in his career, it is admirable that he is able to make the project that he's always wanted to make. But just because he's passionate about this one doesn't necessarily mean that the audience is going to get into it. So what's the deal with this one? Now, usually around this point in the video, I would break down the story for you, tell you a bit about the plot, set up the characters, all that good stuff. The only problem is, though, is that there's no plot here. There's a semblance of a story, but the plot itself is meandering and non-existent. It sets up the story of Caesar Catalina, played by Adam Driver, who's an architect looking to revitalize the city of New Rome. He goes up against the mayor, Franklin Cicero, played by Giancarlo Esposito, and develops a romance with Natalie Emmanuel, who plays the mayor's daughter. There's your plot summary right there. That's about as deep as it gets. You don't really need to know anything else beyond that. There you go. Now, I'm usually a big fan of movies like this. I love when a movie provides some gonzo imagery and is covered with lots of different themes to pick up. Movies like Beau is Afraid from last year, or Holy Mountain, if we're going back a few decades, is also a good comparison. Charlie Kaufman is pretty notorious for making symbolic and strange movies, but the problem here is that there are no real themes being pitched to us. Or if there are, it's all very surface level. I'm Adam Driver, and I'm the good guy. I want to make a utopia, and it'll look like this meme that you see on Twitter. I'm the mayor, and I'm the bad guy. I want to build casinos and shit. I like when people are poor, and I'm rich. I'm WoW Platinum, and I get in bed with power, because I'm a propaganda machine for the elite. I want power, that's my character. WoW Platinum. I'm Shia LaBeouf, and I'm a freak, and maybe a Nazi too. That's it. There are poor people, and they exist. Yay, we did it. We got the utopia made. Everyone's friends now in the end. Yay! I'm fine with letting my thinking cap go and just enjoying the vibes, but at least give me a reason to be invested in what's happening. Give me some interesting themes, or characters, or visuals, but the problem is, none of this exists here. Sure, there are some trippy sequences here, but a lot of them rely on heavy use of CGI, which all looks really bad. It reminded me of something like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, or Spy Kids. Just imagine that, but yellow. Now, it was reported that the production of this movie was an absolute mess. The VFX and art department team both quit halfway through. They couldn't get the volume technology to work for many of these scenes, and they were forced to resort to green screen instead. And the set itself was ripe with misconduct allegations. You see, it was reported with video evidence that Francis Ford Coppola was going around kissing extras on set and claiming that it was solely for his pleasure. This is very weird behavior, and I guess was allowed to go on since Francis Ford Coppola was a director and producer of this project, meaning he was the only head honcho you could report this kind of stuff to. There was no HR department or anything else. Now, this type of behavior is unfortunately commonplace in this industry, which is fucked up and completely unacceptable, but it's still really shitty when you see one of the great cinematic legends stoop to this low on one of his own productions. It makes it more difficult to defend this film as an old man going buck wild to create whatever they want, when you consider that he's also using this as an opportunity to treat the cast and crew however he wants. And this is further reflected in the final product. Every woman here is essentially made to just look really hot. They all look like they came straight out of the hub, which, okay, pretty ladies, I like that, but what's the point of it all? Is it because Francis Ford Coppola also thinks they're hot? Probably, and that's exactly everything wrong with this movie. It feels extremely outdated, and the way in which women are objectified here further adds to this. This movie feels like it was made for no one except Francis Ford Coppola. Even if there are fans of this movie that come along and check it out, is this something that you're going to want to watch on streaming later? Is this going to be a movie that's shown in film schools or that you would recommend to your friends? What's the legacy of this movie going to be? are we made to believe that this is going to be a masterpiece years later and we simply just don't understand it now? I have a hard time believing that, although that's how they attempted to market it. Yeah, quick side note, because I'm just realizing I never addressed this. They did in fact release a trailer with AI-generated quotes for Coppola's previous movies, basically as a way to say they didn't like these movies when they came out, so give ours a chance. Not only is this incredibly shitty that they felt the need to resort to fake quotes to gauge interest in this project, it also just never works out to market your movie this way. It reminds me a lot of what they did to try to promote that movie Gotti years ago. The one where they said, critics put out the hit and audiences loved it. Something like that. Yeah, very similar energy going on here, down to the fake reviews and everything. The positive reviews I have seen for this film so far have all said things along the lines of, well, at least he got to make the movie he wanted to make. And sure, I do agree with that, but the movie should be good because it's good. I don't really care if a well-respected director was able to pull from his own riches in order to make his passion project happen if the movie itself is shit. And I'm sorry, but this movie is really shitty. The biggest crime this movie commits is that it's just boring. I was fighting for my life to stay awake for a good chunk of the movie, which is always really lame when that happens, but I don't even really feel like I was missing anything. I also didn't attend one of the ultimate IMAX screenings with the guy in front of the auditorium asking Adam Driver a question, but I don't feel like that would have made much a difference. The sequence itself was really short, and from what I understand, the actor just lip-syncs the already pre-recorded line anyways. So if you're disappointed that you didn't get one of those screenings, don't worry, because it doesn't sound like you really missed much. In regards to the performances, I think they're all over the place. Some of them fit the movie well, and some of them don't. Aubrey Plaza and Shia LaBeouf, I think, understood the assignment, but the rest are underutilized or confused about their role here. Jon Voight, I'm pretty sure, was just drunk in every scene. Him and Dustin Hoffman both slurred their way through this entire film. Adam Driver is always good in every role he's given, but it doesn't really feel like there's a ton for him to do here. A lot of his line readings are really bizarre, and I'm not sure if they're meant to be funny or not.
So go back to the club.
So go back to the club.
So go back to the club.
Nathalie Emmanuel also feels out of place in this role. She's just taking this way more seriously than the rest of the cast, and I don't know, her performance really stood out to me, but not in a good way. Guys, look, this was my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year after Dune Part 2 came out. I really wanted to like this one, but it ultimately fell short for me. I couldn't help but leave the theater feeling an overall sense of bewilderment. I don't think anyone is really going to love this, and it seems like nobody has gone to see it if the box office has anything to say about it. As for my rating, I don't know, man, a 3 out of 10, I guess. It's pretty bad, but you should see it if you are a film fan, because we're never going to get a movie like this again. So this is your one chance at experiencing peak. Don't miss out on it. Anyways, let me know what you thought of this if you did see it. Hope you're all doing okay out there, and until next time.